Ross Chastain used the wall all the way around this racetrack. Logano has been the class of the field.
Check out the big brain on Brad.
Yeah, I need to change my underwear.
With Bristol in the rear view and New Hampshire in the forefront, Brian and I are in to recap all that was Bristol. How'd the betting go? Terribly. How did the DraftKings go? Terribly. There was some amazing Christopher Bell numbers. We'll talk about that here in a minute. And then we'll get you ready for round 2 of the NASCAR playoffs as we head to New Hampshire. Who's going to be holding up the lobster and ending up in victory lane? Brian Twining, how the hell are you?
I'm doing great, man. I got to say, maybe not my favorite, but certainly up there in terms of the best races I've watched this season.
Is it actually? I know in Gluck's poll it got 81% or something. I feel like people are overrating it because we finally got the tire fall off that we've been like clamoring for, and so because we got the fall off, people are like, amazing.
And the racing was incredible because of it. We only had I believe it was like 3 cars had issues because of the tires. Obviously Josh Berry's car blowing up. Tried to warn you people. And Austin
should have known that his car was going to catch on fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of the extra rubber being laid
you
down.
Figured there was going to be a problem with him, and
like, but I know the temperature drops.
Go ahead.
But like, how do we go from no tire wear to
Did I not even bring up this possibility?
It doesn't make sense. The math is not. Do you have an insider at Goodyear that told you the tires were going to collapse?
No,
that's the only logical thing I could think of.
This is exactly what they talked about because they came. Okay, so
they talk about this every week.
But let me just say, I was very frustrated and irritated at the fact that they released another set of tires when they came into the week expecting the tires only to go 40 or so laps, which is what they were friggin' doing. So why the hell then were they shocked?
Because they pushed really hard in the first part, and they were.
So what? Extend the damn. Joey Logano was going to run fucking 80 laps in the final stage on one set of tires because he didn't have any more freshies if the thing just went green. So if he can make the tires last that long, guys were going to go out there and be able to extend them past 60, which we saw in stage 2. So I don't understand why they then had to cater and say, oh, we need to give them an extra set of tires. Blah, blah, blah. And then the way that they did it too, after some guys had already pit or other guys refrained from pitting, and then they were like, oh, by the way, the tires are released now. That completely fucked up other people's strategies. Sorry.
Welcome to NASCAR, my friend.
Yeah, it was very irritating. And I honestly would have rather have seen them just say, listen, you got the tires that you got. Figure it out.
Yeah. Or do it after a stage break or something.
Exactly.
If you're new here around here, make sure you click like, make sure you click subscribe. I don't know if you caught this week's actions detrimental, but you realize we spent more of the race under caution than we did running the actual race, right?
That was because of the cautions that all came in succession. And then the Josh Berry caution, they rode around for 14 laps. Which to me is asinine. Just red flag the thing, bring the cars down pit road or something, and then clean the shit up. There's no reason to be wasting laps. Which part of me does think they were doing this purposely, so that way they did get to the end with the tires, because NASCAR was worried, oh crap, maybe we're gonna have guys riding on rims at the end of the race, which isn't a good look. But again, it would have forced the drivers to take care of their stuff better, and still make speed.
About what I said, I don't know if it was probably Saturday, about NASCAR's ultimate goal is to have these drivers finish the race, and they want the Goodyear tires to hold up. So is the clamoring we want for the tires to fall off. They need that sponsor to be happy, and they need the race to finish, and they need to get to the next town and all that stuff.
The one thing, so I tweeted about this after the race. I I do think we need to start looking into setting the practice and qualifying time at the same time that the race is going to go off the next day. I know the weather is not always going to be exact.
Yeah, I mean,
Give you
for
a
the
better
bettors,
indication
obviously that would be amazing. But for
for ambient
scheduling
temperature and track temperature, that's going
I
to
don't-
much more resemble what the race is.
I don't think they care. I know we care. I don't think they care.
No, the drivers care though, because this is now the
Yeah.
fourth consecutive Bristol race where practice and race day tire conditions were completely opposite.
I mean, you could say the same thing about Briscoe's win at Darlington. You could say lots of stuff.
Yeah, but
Uh,
Darlington was more about not being able to pass.
True.
That wasn't the tires.
It's also really interesting how they were able to just get the tires to fall off without actually testing them or doing anything. They just magically knew.
But I think they did run a test somehow to see, and that's where all the information was coming out about. Denny was saying like we're thinking about 40 laps, and then these things are dead.
I'm just gonna make myself a little tinfoil hat and set it over here because I feel like each week I'm getting a little more down the weeds. So I'm just gonna put the tinfoil hat on when I want to get a little wonky. It was frustrating having Ryan Blaney at a great number and having him not be able to convert it on Sunday. So that sucked. Alex
we talked
Bowman,
about his inability to win as the favorite.
Yeah. Alex Bowman.
Oh.
Very Alex Bowman.
My biggest complaint about the race was that late caution that didn't let us see Hocevar and Bowman chasing down Keselowski to the checkered, because that was setting up to be an epic finish.
Yeah. Ty Gibbs once again leading a ton of laps.
Yeah.
All right, let me pull up our DraftKings and we can go through it. Share my screen window.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, usually when I watch races, I take notes on the happenings of the race and stuff. But when I saw the first guy come down pit road, I just threw my notebook to the side and said, "There's no way I'm going to keep up with this shit if the tires are going to be falling off like this."
Yeah. Chase Elliott.
Yeah.
So annoying. Kyle Larson. So annoying. 45% on him.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. Just not a fun week. Maybe that's why I'm so melancholy. It's the same lineup. Why did it? Oh, I must have done multiple contests.
I will say the fact that only 13.4% of people went with Bowman was quite surprising, knowing what was on the line for them. Despite what they showed in practice, teams make adjustments, and he's been so good here. I had no doubt that they were going to figure out a way to do something.
But he's been so shit for like a month.
Yeah,
I think people had that stink and they just didn't want any part of it.
Yeah.
All right, let me see. So I'm doing the 1K. Let me just find the third lineup that didn't match. Did that one? Oh, this is the other. No. How about Zane Smith, huh?
Hey, the Zane train is chugging along, man. I'm gonna be on him again this week too. Just a little.
Yeah, obviously a frustrating day for Bubba. He was looking solid until he wasn't. Led some laps, was fast.
Well, he also basically did his job in the first stage, and that was kind of what I anticipated out of that team was get stage points, clinch spot in the next round, and then go for the gusto. And obviously that probably wound up costing them, but
yep. Obviously the Hamlin. Yeah, so Hamlin cooked, Larson cooked, Blaney was fine, but like honestly, Ty Gibbs was kind of.
Yeah, I think
one of the
Honestly,
best.
I feel like the best cars were Ty Gibbs, probably Hocevar was up like top 3, top 5.
Blaney was in the conversation, right?
Yeah, but there really wasn't a moment where I actually thought Blaney was going to win. Gibbs, on the other hand, I did think that Gibbs had a shot. I mean, he was incredible. That's blew my mind early in the race. And then also Alex Bowman too. When the tires started wearing and they started to get into their strategy, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to work out perfect for them. And you could tell because they found the front, maybe not the front, but they were coming to the front. And
no, they
so,
were definitely like right there, and they were just
Yep.
like there was a point where he was running, I think, second or third. He was running third. He
Mhm.
got to second, and it looked like he was going to push. And I think he had to end up having to pit or something, and then try to work his way back up.
And it was hard to keep track because nobody was on the same tire cycle. Like everybody was on a different strategy for their tires.
Could you imagine being at the racetrack and trying to figure out
Oh
who's
my
in the lead
gosh.
and who's not? Like,
If you didn't have a scanner or you weren't listening to the radio broadcast from MRN or PRN, whichever one was doing it this week, you were effed. Like it would have just looked like a conveyor belt of the Groundhog's Day going around because you would have had no idea who was on what. And yeah.
Shouts to
Craziness.
Zane, shouts to Riley, shouts to Hocevar. All had strong weeks.
Riley Herbst, baby.
And from the betting perspective,
Yeah.
just a mess. Just an absolute mess. Like Bowman was fine to get on. I think the price obviously made sense. Bubba, I'm fine added that. Barry over KFP, that was going to cash if his car didn't catch on fire, but I don't know. It was weird because there seemed to be a couple people that were in on Barry, but for the most part, everyone was just like out.
Yeah.
But his odds,
I had checked out of Barry a couple weeks ago.
And of course, Busher just pops and has a great race. So whatever. Frustrating week, and finally in the red. So I get back in the green. Obviously, you had Bowman at HMS; those didn't hit. Host of our top 10, that was a good bet. Reddick over Bush, that was a great bet. Bell over Briscoe, got there.
I mean, it was kind of scary for a while, and then in that final stage, I was like, "Oh yeah."
Shouts to Chase Briscoe, by the way, who's just
Dude.
starts in the back. We're like, we should fade him. It's gonna be hard for him to move forward. Not only did he move forward, but he was a legit contender, leading for a lot of the race.
I will say he probably, if the first stage goes completely green, he is definitely in danger.
Sure. If the tires didn't fall off. I
don't know. The thought process was there for me. I mean, this team, though, I can no longer fade them no matter where they go out and to begin the race. I mean, they are hitting on all cylinders. And as Greg from Win the Race said in the Discord during the race, they are just not making any mistakes and they are getting all of the good luck on their side right now.
If you get to Phoenix with him and you have that pit crew that's been borderline flawless, he makes really good decisions. He's going to qualify really, really well. So happy to have that number in my pocket. That's the only outright I have right now. So I'm sure it'll go up in flames, but I'm very, very excited to see him hopefully get to Phoenix and have a shot to win it all. I did check our bracket that we built. Of course, we had SVG going to the round of 8 because once he gets through here, the Roval, we thought he would win and get through.
Yep.
But other than that, we did good. And I think honestly, pivoting from Bowman out and Rawson was definitely the move.
Well, Bowman's only shot in the round of 16 was Bristol.
Yeah. Any other Bristol takeaways before we move the calendar forward and talk a little lobster?
Yeah, give us the same tire with practice and race start time at the same damn time.
Like dial it back like 10%.
No.
No,
I love it because it forces. So you have two different strategies. You can
Yeah.
have guys
The one where
that
your car catches on fire, the one where your
oh
car
my
doesn't catch on fire.
no, you have guys who either want to push it out the front end to just make track position and then try to block, or you have the old fogies like Brad Keselowski was doing all day, just utilize the length of their tires and then be
Do
there
you
at the
really
end.
want slow ass Brad just to get a win because he's just like
Yeah.
driving like
Like
a grandpa? That's not
I
fun.
don't hate it. I
Denny even said like no one could actually push their car because if they did, their tires were just going to evaporate. That's not fun for me. Let us know. Am I in the minority? Am
but I
I the
also think that it
19%?
rewarded guys who could find time while also being good on their tires. Like
The fastest
driving
lap was rain
styles,
on the third lap of the race.
it made driving style matter. Because if you go back to Bristol in the spring, like everybody could be running the same exact lap in terms of their line, and it was solely based on speed. It had nothing to do with the driver. It was just how fast your car was.
Which to me is more fun, but maybe
That's
I'm
so
crazy.
boring.
What do I know? I know
Like we
nothing.
want it in the driver's hands. This is what they've been talking about.
Yeah, drivers like Zane Smith and Carson Hocevar are popping. Great.
Good. That's great.
Corey Heim, I think, got a top 10.
Corey Heim finished 6th.
It was a war of attrition. Crazy. Let's talk New Hampshire. Is Chris Bell about to go on another run and bookend this season? Like he won those 3 in a row. Now he's gonna win last week, win
He
this
should
week,
certainly be the favorite here.
win next week.
He should definitely be the favorite here.
What would you bet him at?
Before practice and qualifying, I don't know if there were any 4s or 4 somethings when at open. I wouldn't have minded that, but I'm not gonna play
425.
anybody. What's that?
Like a 425.
Yeah. Like I'm not gonna play anybody at 3. However, or as you say, however, when you look at the races on this tire this year, Richmond, Christopher Bell was not great. Christopher Bell also, albeit a different tire, was not fantastic at Iowa. You know, like initially I was looking at Gateway as a comp, but considering the fact that they're running the 2 different packages, like this is a short track package, Gateway uses intermediate, you have to then pivot and go back to the short track stuff. And Christopher Bell, the last 2 short tracks, was not the elite of the elite. And so it's hard for me to want to get invested at this price before seeing him on the track, which if he goes out there and he practices like we expect, or he qualifies like we expect, especially since he was one of the 3 guys that tested here earlier this year. Yeah, he's sure to fire off
225 like, or 250, you'd be fine.
Yeah, he's going to smoke the field in all likelihood.
Hamlin, Blaney, Briscoe, Larson, Joey Logs. For full disclosure, I did get a 750 on Blaney. I don't love the 6.
I played 650, and there's still, I think there's a 7 still out there. I think it's DraftKings.
There's a 7 at DraftKings. He's going on my card.
Stupid DraftKings keeps ditching out. Yeah, of the guys priced inside that 10-1 number,
yeah, he's 7 there. I'm adding that.
Yeah, I'll put that on there too. I think Blaney's the most intriguing. He's just been fast everywhere at this track type in particular, really fast. He's been good here at New Hampshire. Finishes are a little misleading. I mean, he's been quick.
Yeah.
The last few times we've come here in the Gen 7 car, so
was 3rd at Richmond. Didn't he win Iowa 2 years ago?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. And Blaney has been a rocket everywhere we go.
Yeah, he was 4th at Iowa. Was 2nd after stage 2. Was one of the best cars there.
Yeah.
I just, the number is really compelling, and obviously, I don't know. It's like weird because it's like I almost like if he comes out and looks awesome, I almost don't want to bet him.
What?
Because like that's like when he looks like the best car, he kind of
Yeah,
stinks.
but this week I think you're protected by the fact that Christopher Bell is the
That's fair.
perceived like dominant force here.
Because
So
he could,
even if Christopher Bell goes out and looks
but I mean, we did
good,
this last week with Larson. Larson was like 2 something, and then all of a sudden Larson's 3 something, and Blaney's 3 something.
well, yeah, but that's the thing. So Blaney's not going to go off as the favorite. Blaney went off as the favorite. Well,
He basically was the last
yeah.
week.
By the time we
Like
went green, it was Larson was the favorite
we
to
could
win the race.
basically see the same thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. The thing, like, obviously, I said it last week, and thank goodness I did this. But it was my smallest card in terms of handle pre-race. And I can't even count how many. It might have been all year, excluding super speedways, and then I was just firing off live bullets.
Yeah,
The-
I kind of wish I had followed suit. I got a little too over my skis after getting that Blaney number locked in and feeling like Nostradamus with that on my card. I'm like, I got this. I got this signed, sealed, and delivered, and obviously it didn't go well.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Briscoe is the other guy that's really interesting to me. We've talked
Yes.
about his run at all these shorter tracks. He's obviously been extremely impressive in qualifying, and if, like you said, if track position really does matter a lot, he should be really strong on Saturday, putting himself in a great spot to be one of the contenders on Sunday. So I don't love the 7 as much, but I know what was it? Like there's
Yeah, he's an 8 somewhere else.
yeah, he was 8. Is BetMGM really have him at 525? That's wonky.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, yeah, so Briscoe's 8 at ESPN
Yeah.
right now. And at this point of the season, I honestly think that might be a little bit too long, just with how good they've been practicing and qualify, or how good they've been qualifying. Maybe not practice, but yeah, this car is routinely starting up near the front, so it's hard to. I mean, beyond Bristol last week, and they still kind of debunked my thing about not being able to get up to the front there, but
yeah, I'm gonna add it. Like you said, I mean, it's just I don't know. It just doesn't like the math. I still think he's getting a little bit of SHR stink on him that's causing his numbers to not be quite where they should be. And maybe I'll
okay.
look back and Christopher Bell will dog walk the field and I'll be like, why did I bet these stupid numbers? But
If Chase Briscoe's name was Ty Gibbs,
if his name was Martin Truex and he was doing the same thing, what would his number be?
he'd be 2.5 to 1 this week
Exactly.
for sure, 100%. And even if his name was Ty Gibbs and he was having the season that he's having right now, he'd probably be 5.
Maybe.
Think about how short Gibbs is priced.
I mean, Gibbs is what, like 5'4"? That makes sense. Yeah, no, I think Briscoe is a buy at 8 or a bit longer. And I know it's like finicky. If you really want to bet 7, that's the best you can get. Like, I'm not going to stop you, but
I will say personally, because again, we're running a different tire than we've ever ran at New Hampshire. It's the first time it's in the playoffs since like 2018 or 2017, I think I saw. So obviously you have to account for different racing that's going to be happening here. I don't think you want to get too crazy, and you probably want to wait a little bit for as long as you have live. If you have the ability to bet live, I think that again this is another race that you just sit back, maybe play a couple of longer shots or one guy now, and then add to your card as the race is going.
Yeah, no, I think that's completely logical. Yeah, and I don't know the difference for me. Like as the closer you get to the top, that margin is so much smaller.
Yeah,
Like I'm fine going from 35 to 30 or 35 to 28 if it's on somebody that's a longer shot that I think can move up and make some serious noise. But I'm not going to bet a guy at like 6 if I can get him at 8 somewhere or even 7
Well,
and 8.
yeah, because then you're really, I mean, you're talking about like the margins of
Yeah.
the percentage of change in odds. And for instance, a guy like Briscoe or Blaney, you get them at 7 or 8, and they go out there and they pull it, and they looked like the best car in practice, and they're now 3.5.
Yeah.
I mean, you just doubled your potential payout on that
Yeah.
driver.
And also, like, you have to lay a lot more on a 7 or 8 to 1 versus you do have to on a 35 or whatever. So it's a lot easier to stomach a little bit of a price movement. Let's talk about the next range because I think it's interesting. There's obviously names there to be had, and obviously shop around because you can find different numbers. But Byron, Reddick, Bubba, Chase Elliott, Ty Gibbs, Brad Kay, Austin Cindric. Those are the guys inside 30 to 1. Anybody there kind of getting your interest, or do you think it's kind of a range, especially with like the Byron or the Reddick, where it's like a little more name value and a little less actual race winning upside this week?
Bubba Wallace. I've been talking about this for the longest time. He's still my favorite championship future, my favorite odds to like make the championship 4.
Yeah.
Still hanging out there. Really good at Iowa. Quite possibly the best car at Richmond. He's finished inside the top 10, I think, in 2 of the 3 Gen 7 New Hampshire races we had, and he was running decent last year before the whole rain situation and rain tires and all that stuff happened. And for the first time, I mean, obviously we're in the playoffs, but he has a legitimate playoff car, and he has been really good at pretty much every track we've been at for the past 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Like he's no longer somebody that people should just be glancing over and like, oh yeah, no way. Like I know he only won once this year, but the fact that he's being priced around Ty Gibbs is embarrassing and honestly a slap in the face to me.
Yeah. No, I think that's super compelling point.
Now,
Is it
I will
25?
say, yeah,
the number?
25 or longer, yeah, for sure. Don't touch 20.
It's funny to see the next couple names after him. Like I'm looking on ESPN, obviously every book's a little bit different, but like Bubba's 25 and Josh Berry's 35.
Okay, I'm gonna say it again. Josh Berry is a danger to himself and the rest of the field right now. He had his one shining moment. He would be the leadoff if NASCAR did a NCAA basketball March Madness style one shining moment video. He would be the leadoff to the video showing him winning Vegas, and that would be his one appearance on the video. Like that was his moment.
Yeah, he's basically the Northwestern kid crying at the tournament. It's like that's what he is at this point. It's crazy.
Yeah, and people are going to be super excited about him, but you know, you guys can get all mad at me for saying this again, but this qualifying metric in the playoffs this year in particular really screws the guys who are not part of the playoffs. And now that Josh Berry is eliminated, he's going to be going out as one of the first 8 cars, one of the first 7 cars. Mind you, had he not been in the playoffs last week at Bristol, he would have gone out as the 11th car in qualifying.
Counterpoint. He finished 13th at Iowa and 8th at Richmond after starting 17th.
That's 17th.
What do you think he's going to start? 31st?
He's probably going to be starting in the 20s. And again, do you right now, do you trust that car to even make it halfway through the race at this point?
So Bristol 39th, Gateway 36th, Darlington 38th, 9th at Daytona, 8th at Richmond, 35th at Watkins, 13th at Iowa, 22nd at Indy, 28th. Like there's been a lot of really bad finishes, but the 2 tracks that we've been comparing it and talking about and lumping in a top 10er at Richmond and just outside the top 10 at Iowa. I'm not saying
I'm going to let everybody else. I'm going to let everybody else go with the 21 gauge this week. And yeah, I will sit back, relax, and watch his car implode again.
Does he make it through stage 1?
I sure hope so. The rain is not in the forecast, so
Does he make it through stage 2?
a lap down, probably.
Any other?
I mean, he's had quite possibly the worst luck. If Chase Briscoe's had the best luck and executed the best, he's the complete polar opposite.
Yeah. Any longer shots that you think when we talk Saturday night could be shorter, could be more interesting, or maybe you're not betting them to win, but matchups, placings, that kind of stuff, it could make sense.
Yeah, we were talking pre-show, but I do think that Austin Cindric, despite not having the finishing results here and kind of some disappointing runs here to begin the playoffs when he's had really good cars, I think the fact that he is unloading with really good cars in practice and in qualifying is, reason to get excited at longer numbers on him. Now, do I want to play 28-1 on the 2 car this year? No, absolutely not. That being said, if you could find a 2-1 in the top 10 market, I do think that's definitely live because he's probably going to qualify inside the top 10. He's going to have a really strong car on the long run. And, Penske, what we've been talking about, this track type is kind of their bread and butter. It's Christopher Bell and Penske at this track. We didn't even talk about him, but Joey Logano is this second best guy really here at New Hampshire and this type of track. And so he's garnering a lot of attention this week. So Cindric, who's also a part of the playoffs, is going to be showing up with his best and all that stuff and continue that trend. So I don't mind taking a shot on him either.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if I think that 2-1 price is a very fair buy price. Our friends over at Win the Race, what do they have them fair at?
I think it's like plus 140 or something.
It's 175 basically. So I think if you can get 2-1 or better, I think he's totally worth it. I think grabbing him, obviously he's never done that here, so it is a little intimidating. But if you look at his kind of recent results, like especially at the comparing tracks, he was 5th at Richmond, and he was 12th at Iowa, but started 4th, was in the top 4 basically 80% of the race, and was actually one of the better cars. He was basically like a top 5 car all day.
Yeah, and I think what's important for him is qualifying well, something they've been doing really good here the last month or so. Yep. And because again, he's very similar to like Ty Gibbs, or we jokingly say this, but a guy like William Byron, who they're front runners in the sense that they run well when they have the built-in track position, but they have difficulty making passes to make that back up. So obviously, Cindric, you need him to qualify well, but I fully expect them to do that.
Any Austin Dillon love? Do you think because of the playoffs
dude,
now,
RCR effing sucks right now?
Yeah, they have it's like just that something about them when they go to Richmond, it makes too much sense.
And that's the thing, like that to me, I feel like that's an outlier track for Austin Dillon. That's just a place that makes sense to him. It speaks to him.
Yeah,
and the places he's just good.
Yep, he sees it well and he knows it. What? Let's see, top 10 price here, plus 190. I think that's fine. Obviously, it's better than the.
He's 2-1 at ESPN, so yeah. I put that on the card.
Okay. Any head-to-heads you like? Logano versus Reddick, Blaney versus Larson, Hamlin.
I mean, honestly, I do like Logano over Reddick, but I'm not laying minus 140.
No.
Not with the way this year has gone.
No. Cindric minus 105 versus Ross.
So interesting that you bring that one up, because I do really like Cindric this week, and Chastain has even said like this hasn't been a great track for them in the past, but he was one of the 3 drivers. He was the Chevy representative that came and tested here.
Yep.
And so maybe he can parlay that into a decent result, because I do think what they're doing right now, the one team, is they're just trying to maximize their finish while trying to snipe stage points, because they've been showing up with much better speed on Saturdays for qualifying. So in all likelihood, this team is probably like, okay, let's just get stage points, first and second stage, and then deal with the third stage when we get there. So he's not somebody I really want to play in matchups because of that. Because I think they'd be willing to take stage points, even if it kind of punts a top 10 finish, and they just try to make it back to like 14th or 15th.
Yeah. And it really feels like a bad move to fade Logano. I mean, to fade Chris Bell or Denny Hamlin, even with like the juice that could come with it.
Yeah, I'm not touching.
It's just not worth the risk.
Although, so I did see one over at 365. I'm not going to advocate for playing this, but I do think the number is much too long for this particular matchup. You can get Ryan Blaney plus 160 versus Christopher Bell.
Oh yeah, I'm taking that.
Yeah, like Bell kicks ass here, and he's the rightful favorite. But if you were to tell me there was one guy who could potentially beat him, I'm going to pick Ryan Blaney all day.
Well, and I feel like, I don't know, like even we talk about Blaney, like he could go to the back and work his way up, and he could get like a third or fourth and potentially win that.
Well, and that's the thing with Blaney is when you look at like passing metrics, I don't know if there's been anybody better than him in terms of being able to pass cars and not being passed this year.
Oh, that's interesting. I'll hit you that. We'll check out the outright and like all the championship stuff. 365 has odds to make the championship 8, which I think is interesting. And
some of those numbers have moved since this morning, by the way.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure our friends in the Discord were going ham on those. So highly recommend that if you want to get in on the action early and get the numbers that matter, get in the Discord. It's $30. It'll get you through the $30 a month basically through the end of the year. So it's really, really good deal. And you can see if you like it and come in, because I guarantee you'll want to be there for all of next season. Let's see if I can get to the championship over here. Any manufacturer stuff you like with Blaney, like once again, whenever there's a big favorite of Blaney, Chase Elliott, or not Chase Elliott, Chris Bell, I like to look at that manufacturer and see if there's anything, but like, I don't know, Cindric 750.
I'd rather just play his auxiliary markets.
Yeah, that's fair. You don't have to worry about him.
Because I do think like you could get a decent price on his. So okay, for instance, he's 6-1 to top 5 at 365. You're gonna tell me it's only $1 or it's $1.50? Yeah, I'm paying $1.50 to get him to top 5 and have a result where both Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano can finish in front of him, which is probably likely going to happen. Sure, I'll do that. Like I'm still getting paid. And he's performing well, but I don't have to necessarily worry about him beating the second favorite or potentially the favorite to win the race in Blaney.
Our friends offshore. Wait. Oh yeah, Chase Elliott made it through. Never mind. I was thinking he didn't make it through for some reason, but that's
he shouldn't have. If that race stayed green, I think there's a real possibility Alex Bowman walks away from that win and eliminates his teammate last week at Bristol. So
yeah, man, that'd have been nice.
Yeah, honestly, would have.
That'd have been real nice. At least you were able to get some Christopher Bell. Wormy told us. I didn't listen. I almost looked at him like that number's long for what he's doing, and I was like, ah. And then I live bet Hamlin at a worse number. It's so stupid.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I actually waited during Bristol. I fired off on a big number. So before the first weird caution, I actually played Zane Smith at 500 to 1.
Sure.
Because he was running up front. I was like, man, this guy's just been like putting it together. And sure enough, he was there at the end. So felt great holding that.
Yeah, he wasn't going to win, but at 500, I think it's fine.
I bet $5 on that. And I was going to pay freaking almost a mortgage payment.
Hell yeah. Let's go. Anyone you want to fade Larson with? Byron, Elliott, Chastain, Bowman.
So I do think Chevy is wide open this week.
Yeah, it feels like it, but like nobody feels good either. That's the thing.
No. Yeah, I feel like Chastain's priced up simply because he's the only other Chevy in the playoffs.
Bowman 950.
I would have to go back and do research to see how guys eliminated
Yeah.
perform in the first race of the next round.
Well, and that's the thing too, is this has never been a playoff race, so it's kind of hard to.
Yeah. Well, I just mean in general to like see how they perform.
No, I know, but I'm just saying on top of that, like,
yeah.
I mean, our friends that win the race say Byron's should be the favorite, so take that for what you will.
Yeah, I think Elliott's priced too short.
Yeah, Elliott's priced too short. Larson's priced too short. Bowman's priced too short.
Everybody's priced too short except for Byron, honestly.
Yep.
But the thing with Byron though is that if he doesn't qualify,
he'll qualify 9th and finish 12th. And
yeah, I was just gonna say he'll probably run 8th to 12th the entire day. So
Briscoe, Ty Gibbs, Bubba.
And no, if you're gonna bet Bubba in this market, you can maybe play both, but I would just much rather play him to win.
Yeah.
Think about it. He's gonna beat both Christopher Bell and Denny Hamlin and Chase Briscoe, and he's not gonna win the race.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Anything else from a New Hampshire perspective that you want to make sure we mention? Anything jumping out to you before we jump over and look at championship stuff?
Let's just keep our fingers crossed for once again that the damn tires wear and we get good racing, kind of like Richmond, where tires were falling off and it was about long run pace.
Yeah, I just feel like it's so hard to bet those. I don't know.
Oh, I love it, man.
Give me clean air.
The thing is you can see who's able to keep the tires on it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe not in practice, but like if you have the ability to fire off live bullets, you just watch that first stage and you can tell within that first cycle who has the pace on the long run.
You just have to be willing to fire. You have to be willing to let your priors go away.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to not be like, well, I thought this guy was going to be good and the number was too short. And now we're here in stage 2 and he's running 8th or 12th or 14th and I can get 3 times what I was getting before. And that doesn't, and he hasn't looked good and he's not going to win. Like it's, the one I didn't bet was Briscoe, and I kind of wish I did, but obviously I'm glad I didn't because he didn't win. But
yeah.
All right. Larson, Blaney, Hamlin, Bell, Byron. You can still get Briscoe at 8-1. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. Brian's going to tell you to wait on all these guys and tell you not to bet any of them until the elimination round because there's no way they can win.
I will say, I do think that Christopher Bell is a small lean towards the buy at the 550. This is basically what he opened the season at.
Yeah. And he's not going to make it to Phoenix with a chance to win it. It's like last year.
Yeah, but okay, so you're entering. To me, this is how you play this with Bell. If you think he's going to win this week, you either double your unit or you take your unit and you split it and you bet him to win the race and you also add him on the championship future. Because if we get to the round of 8, then we go to Vegas where he's incredible at. And then obviously we got Talladega, but Christopher Bell's actually been pretty good at super speedways. And then Martinsville closes it out. So, I mean, you'd be much more comfortable sitting on 550 than he gets to Phoenix and he's 240, 230 with Blaney at 220, like 230 as well. Like you're doubling what he would be in Phoenix there.
I just feel so much better about him this round than I do next round. Obviously, New Hampshire.
The thing though is that, so when we go to Vegas, it's going to sound weird. Like Denny is kicking ass this year, but I just don't know. It's hard for me to envision Denny with the way that he's been racing at super speedways recently and just his lack of, I don't want to call it skill, but just his lack of ability to get results at road courses and stuff like that. Yeah. Like, I don't know if he's going to go into next round with the point situation that he's in right now. So he may actually drop down to like the 4th or the 5th guy by the time we get to the round of 8. And then Bell might supersede him, especially if Bell wins this week at New Hampshire. And then he can just points hunt the rest of the round. Like just try to gain as many playoff points on the rest of the field. So that way he improves his standing as we enter the next round.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a Hendrick guy at Vegas. I think Blaney wins Martinsville. And I think some Talladega is just who knows.
Yeah, Talladega to me is a complete crapshoot. I really wish it
be
wasn't in the round of 8.
Zane Smith. It could be Riley Herbst. It could be Josh Berry. It could be
Carson Hocevar, baby.
Carson
He's gonna get that.
Hocevar.
He's gonna get that damn win.
I mean, if Ryan Stevens' fact comes to life, it'll be Brad Keselowski.
Brad Keselowski. So okay. So the final, obviously, I have a big number on Bubba. I do think he's still live to win the championship. I wouldn't bet 15-1 though. But of the guys that aren't above the cut line right now, I do think the most intriguing to me, because we go to Kansas and Las Vegas, is Ross Chastain. Because obviously, to begin the year, worst qualifying season this team has ever had. It's the worst qualifying year by average since coming to the Cup Series. Can't argue that. Since the playoffs have started, they've qualified inside the top 10, I believe, at every single track.
Yep.
So if he's going to show up on Saturday and start near the front at Kansas and Las Vegas, we know how good he can be at those tracks.
And he can legitimately win at Phoenix even when he's not in the playoffs.
Exactly.
Put him in the playoffs. And he's been in the playoffs, so he knows the pressure.
There's a number in Vegas. Is at Superbook. I got to try to figure out a way if I want to do this and if I can get down on it. But he's 50-1 right now to win the championship.
See, that's really good. I think if you can get 30, I think he's worth. He might be my second investment from a championship.
Yeah, like I do think obviously he's got to survive New Hampshire because this isn't a great place for him. He's admitted that, but having tested here, maybe improves him. And I do think with them just qualifying well, nobody passes Chastain without him giving him a fight. So maybe he could just hold on the track position long enough to come home with a decent result here.
And he could just win Kansas and it could not matter.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And then he goes and he wins Vegas. Like,
yeah, like you could tell me he won Kansas, he won Vegas, and then he won Phoenix. Like that seems really plausible I know it's a parlay of kind of epic proportion, and maybe you just bet him at Kansas, bet him in Vegas, and bet him in the championship. But like,
yeah,
I don't know.
That's just the prelude to when we go to Kansas next week. Chastain will probably be on my card.
Yeah, same. 33 at you know what? Where's the thing?
Oh, why are you taking my advice here?
Because you're smart. It sucks.
I don't know, man. Have you seen my freaking card? Have you seen the betting ledger?
That's true. I think because last week you were so smart that I'm questioning everything, but I can get 33 on somebody that I actually think can win. So I'm going to add that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to add the 50 because I don't really consider that real, but
yeah, I'm doing
my plan is to add everybody to my championship future except for the 4 drivers that actually make it to Phoenix with a shot. Speaking of make it to Phoenix with a shot, is there anybody in here above Wallace at 3-1? Ross Chastain 6-1 to make it to Phoenix with a shot.
Yeah, but so his path is much more narrow than say, and he's priced like this for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't.
Than a guy like Bubba, who, when you look at the round of 8, for instance, if he can just get out of this round, Bubba, like Vegas, really good at. Super Speedway, really good at. And then Martinsville, Bubba's been really good at the short, flat tracks. Even this round for the 23, like I don't think people realize we go to New Hampshire, solid at New Hampshire. Really good at Kansas throughout his history. The Roval is one of his best non-ovals.
Yeah, I think that's very, very viable. I'm looking at 365 for their round of 8 bets. Joey Logs at -115 to make the round of 8. Is that a sucker bet or is that actually a good number?
Okay, let's assume Bell. Just assume the favorite wins this week. It's Bell. Bell or Blaney win this week, right?
Yep.
Joey Logano has not been great at 1.5. Still, he's the odd man. That's clearly Blaney in that camp at that track type. And then we go to the Roval, where Logano does have a decent average finish, and he's probably going to qualify well, so maybe he could just hold on the track position. But Logano has been ass at road courses. Now he could strategize his way into a decent finish, but I have less confidence that he could even get out of this round, let alone get into the next round.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, and it really, really hurts me to say this, but really not confident about Tyler Reddick.
No.
Definitely not getting to the
think
championship
honestly, if you're gonna bet someone like Logano, I think you just shoot for the moon and expect him to win a championship or at least
Yeah.
get there. Because then the stars aligned like you did, and he wins Vegas and he gets there and he's fine.
It would also be like the greatest just narrative for Logano to win the championship again in the playoff format when everybody's still bitching about it.
Yeah. I'd much rather bet Denny to make the championship than to win the championship.
Oh yeah. Although he was good in the spring. It'd be really hard though if you have Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, and
Chase Briscoe
there. Yeah.
or Kyle Larson is one of the 3,
Or even Logano for that.
Byron is one. Well, I guess Byron.
Byron, you can HMS in general at Phoenix. Honestly, I'm not going to fade them, but I'm not confident in them beating the Penske or Bell there.
Would Bubba be? Okay, no, obviously.
But he would be the fourth. He'd be the longest guy for sure.
Okay.
It doesn't honestly. I don't think it matters who's in the championship. If Wallace is there, he's probably the longest guy.
Yeah.
Because even if Cindric makes it, Penske.
Fair. What if Penske wins again and it's fucking Austin Cindric?
That would be awesome. Oh man, people would lose their shit, dude.
Sure would be something. Let us know down in the comments. Are you betting New Hampshire this week? Who do you like? And then obviously championship thoughts. We appreciate everybody who interacts with us in the comments. It really, really does go a long way. Make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe if you've yet to do that. Our newsletter will be out every race day, aoppodcast.substack.com. Once again, aoppodcast.substack.com. Brian, any other final things you want to make sure we hit on before we get out of here?
No, just get ready for Sunday morning as Kyle and I are going to rip through the DFS slate on Saturday. Practice and qualifying, I think, are at like 1 or 4 p.m. Eastern for you East Coast people.
So it'll be a nice late Saturday night, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean,
Blaney and Briscoe at 7 and 8 are on my card. Brian has Blaney and then Briscoe and then Cindric to top 10. Fix that. I haven't added. There's no matchups or manufacturer or anything that is really jumping out to me. I will be keeping an eye on that. I'll also check out our friends over at the Draft. If you're watching this, obviously on Wednesday, it's on tonight on the Win the Race YouTube channel. I'll tweet it out. Ryan Stevens always shares it, and the Win the Race Twitter account. Fun show, fun conversation. Learn a lot over there as well. So I might find some nuggets from those guys. But yeah, always on the search, always on the hunt for good numbers, for good bets. So if you guys see stuff that makes sense that we should be looking at, definitely get in there. get in the Win the Race Discord. Come hang out, come chat, come talk. It's a fun day on race day too. There's a whole in-race chat where we're talking about live bets and what the strategies and all that stuff. And there's really, really, really sharp minds. Nuke the House has some guys in there. A lot of really smart people. So, Brian Twining, it's good to be back. It's good to chat through it. Obviously, this is a great way to get the week started. We will be back as always on Saturday night in your feed Sunday morning. So make sure you are subscribed so that when that video hits, you can take it in and watch all of our DraftKings content. That is Brian Twining. I'm Kyle Robert. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll talk to you next time.